how do I want to live? What do I want my life to look like? How do I want to live my days? What do I want to exist in my reality? What type of relationships do I want? What type of environment do I want? What do I want to be doing with the bulk of my day? You know, these things are all in our hands to decide and so create. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Christina and we're back for an Earth Magic intuitive reading for the collective. We're back. I took a couple weeks off. I'm in vacation mode. I'm slowing down. I'm doing what feels right and what's good for me. And I took 2 weeks off. So we're back because I'm feeling it now. I'm ready for another reading. So hope you all are well. What's new? What's been going on? Share with me in the comments below. Yeah, I'm very excited for the readings. The readings are so supportive for me. They're so always aligned to what I'm walking, obviously. And that's why I'm able to share the points. And yeah, so I'm excited to get back into it because I had a nice break and it allowed me to remember and rekindle what it is I was doing here and how good it feels to do these and how much I enjoy these and how supportive they are and everything. It's just such a win-win-win-win-win situation for me. So let's see what's in the cards for us today. Where are we at? It's so revealing, you know what I mean? Like, people don't realize how revealing readings are for people. Like, you guys all think it's about you, but it's all about me. But it's about all of us, so. Okay, here we go. What a cool card. Milky Way perspective. I love this. There's a few points here, but the very first point or word that popped up was expansion, which is interesting because of course I was just talking to my partner about this. But there's a few things. Perspective. Actually, I think the point that I want to share here is almost like a reiteration to what I've been coming into myself and what I'm realizing for myself in this last year and what I've been sharing on my channel too. I have videos about this, but it's that point of perspective. There are so many ways to look at things, and that implies that there's not one way to look at things. And so it's all a matter of perspective. That was a video that I did. And so it's that point of like, it's almost like this point of allowing each person to have their perspective without you, me, needing it to be different for anyone else. It's like I spent so much of my life trying to tell other people what was right for them and what was true for them and how they should live their life, and completely missed the point of I should just live my life and let other people live their life. But I was so heavily focused externally, looking at what this person's doing and what this group is doing and what that person's doing, and like pointing the flaws out on everyone else and like judging everybody else and what are they doing with themselves over here and why are they doing that with themselves and this is not working obviously and they're not doing this right, and like in so many ways, from so many different angles. And it was like, until I finally got a reality check and was like, whoa, woman, why don't you fucking worry about your own life and stop worrying about what everyone else is doing? And that's when this point for me really came through. It's all a matter of perspective. It also synced up or aligned with realizing how physical reality works in terms of your mind or your ability to focus, or what you see, how you experience and perceive things is all determined by you and your beliefs, what you believe to be true, how you define things, how you give meaning to things. It's like reality is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a self-validating system where whatever you think to be true, whatever your perspective is, reality constantly gives you that back as a validation. Like, this is what you think is true. This is what you think is true. This is what you think is true. And here's more of what you think is true. And this is what you think is true. And so we're constantly being shown that. And so that's why we can get trapped in this point of like, well, this is just the way it is because this is how reality is, not realizing that we are creating that. We're like the source point of how everything moves and expands from. We are the source. We are the starting point. We are the source cause origin of our life completely. And so it's just that point of like perspective. You can change your perspective at any moment. In any moment, you can change your perspective. And can you change your perspective? Are you willing to change your perspective? This is a whole other dimension of how much we define ourselves according to how we view things. And do we have an attachment to that in terms of we define ourselves so solely on what we believe that there is no way of us being able to let go of what we believe and consider something else that maybe is in opposition of what we believe, because we so define ourselves according to that we think if we let that go, we'll lose that. We'll lose ourselves, you know? That's a side dimension though. That's not really the point here. The point here is, where is your focus? Where's your focus? Because your focus is your perception of reality. It's how you perceive reality. It's how you see people. It's how you see yourself. It's how you see your life. It's how you see your experiences in your life. It's how you see other people. I already said that. It's how your perspective. Actually, this word perspective, I looked at it as a per the spec in this existence that you are, you know, it's the I am. It's I am. It's like I'm just a speck in the great cosmos, in this great liquid soup of existence that we find ourselves. I'm just a speck, but I'm a unique speck with a unique life experience and a unique vantage point and a unique location point, and I see things in a very particular way according to who I am and all those things that have contributed to that who I am. And it's the same for you. You are such a unique speck in this liquid soup of existence. And so do you honor that perspective as the speck that you are? You know, it's like, what is your perspective on things? How do you view things? And do you recognize and honor and value your perspective? Or are you busy trying to dismantle someone else's perspective? Are you busy trying to find ways to tell other people how they're doing things wrong and how they should be doing things differently? And it's just this point of like, you know, that saying, live and let live. If we're so heavily focused externally in trying to change how other people are living, that to me is a clear sign we're not living fully to our utmost potential. And there's room to do that. So then it's a point of like, I can just drop all this external focusing that I do on other people and just focus on myself. And how do I want to live? What do I want my life to look like? How do I want to live my days? What do I want to exist in my reality? What type of relationships do I want? What type of environment do I want? What do I want to be doing with the bulk of my day? You know, these things are all in our hands to decide and so create. And so have we done that? Or are we just existing in this default mode of life is just random and just happens by chance and, you know, shit happens and it's, you know, that, you know, same shit, different day. If that's your model in life, there's more. There's more to life. Life is a fucking miracle. And the fact that we're existing here at all is a fucking miracle. And so it's like just recognizing the unique speck that we are in this liquid soup of existence. Liquid soup of existence. I think that will be the name of this reading. How unique we are as an individual in this great existence that we find ourselves in, and how much our perspective, how we perceive things, what we believe, that determines everything. That determines everything. And that is what is creating everything. And so it's like everything becomes such a mirror for you. And so here's the practical example for this week, or this practical application that we can apply to self-reflect and get to know ourselves as the speck that we are, as our perspective. How do you experience nature? For example, when I moved to British Columbia, Canada from Minnesota in the States, I moved much closer to the wild. And I had a lot of fear of bears, a lot of fear of cougars in this place in particular. I refused to walk along the river by myself because I was terrified of coming across bears. So I feared nature. I feared it to be this wild, untamed, untrustworthy, like just this wild, predatory nature of existence. And I feared it. And over time, I've gotten over that because I've gotten to know it. And I've also realized that how I view things is how I actually feel about myself. So that untamed, wild, not trustworthy nature I was seeing was actually my nature. So how do you view nature? What is your experience in relation to nature? What is your experience in relation to children? Innocence, that innocence expression. What is your experience in relation to your partner? What is your experience in relation to your parents? Like, these are all points of reflection that give us such a strikingly clear view of who we are as our own nature, because that is the nature of oneness, is that we're all just one thing. So how we see another is actually how we see ourselves. And so it really brings home that point of, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. It doesn't matter what anyone else believes. It doesn't matter what anyone else is busy with. What are you busy with? Where's your focus? Where's your attention? And are you separating yourself from yourself in terms of all the power and control you have is in your hands and your life and who you are and your life experience and how you perceive. And so are you taking advantage of what's available to you, or are you wasting your time and giving up your life to worrying and looking at and watching other people live and judging and criticizing and thinking, well, that shouldn't be like that? You know, it's like we have so much more power and control than we think. We have so much more directive will than we think. We have so much more creative abilities than we think. And it's really time that we start honing in on the perspective, the source of who we are, our starting point, and look at who we are and how we live and how we see things and the nature of ourselves, which we can see in relation to how we experience other people, other things in this world. It has a starting point within us, and it spirals outwards, and that is what creates our reality. And so if you're not satisfied, bring it home, bring it back to yourself. How can you change who you are? How can you change your beliefs? You know, how can you change the way you're approaching your life? You know, what are the thoughts or beliefs or ideas or self-definition that are limiting you? What story are you telling yourself that, you know, causes you to be stuck? You know, because that's the thing. It's all, you know, a matter of perspective. And there's billions of perspectives in existence, and take your pick. Where do you want to stand from? You have that ability to choose, to also choose how you look at things and how you experience things and what you give meaning, like what meaning you give to things. This is your ability to choose and create according to what you believe to be true. So let's read the book definition. Okay, perspective. The Milky Way is said to be one of billions of galaxies in the observable universe. It contains between 200 to 400 billion stars. The one most familiar to us being the Sun. The oldest star in our galaxy is 13.2 billion years old, said to be nearly as old as the universe itself, and the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Distances are measured in light years, and the Milky Way galaxy is believed to be 100,000 light years in diameter. The enormity of and vastness stagger the mind and challenge the imagination, yet it also gives us some notion of where we fit into all of this. Considered from this perspective, our usual frame of reference is put to the task. We're faced with the choice of abandoning our myopic vision in favor of seeing and accepting the bigger picture. Or we can just allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by a sense of smallness and helplessness, yet know that we're composed of material from those very stars that inhabit the Milky Way. Thus, we're connected to Earth and the entire universe at all times, in life and in death. You have lost your perspective, so it is time to step back, breathe, and allow yourself to detach in order to gather information from your senses and regain your perspective about the situation. Detachment does not mean to no longer care. It simply indicates that you are looking at things from a different point of view. It is an outlook that is not clouded by emotions, judgment, or attachment to outcome, but instead maintains a non-reactive awareness of these things. The witness, the internal aspect of yourself that simply observes everything in your life, offers his or her eyes here. Through these lenses of pure awareness, you can examine all aspects of your experiences, physical, emotional, and mental, without denying anything. By doing so, you will come to understand a greater perspective that then is typically justified by the ego, which allows you to see what is before you with clear vision and an open mind. Couple points that come up here. First is the space between the stars is equal to the space between your atoms in your body. So your physical body is literally a physical universe. The space between the stars is the same distance between the atoms in your body. You are a physical universe. And so how does that sit inside of you? And then also that point of considering the vastness and enormity of the universe, it puts into perspective these little dramas and, dramas that we put ourselves through. Like when we react to people in traffic, when we get mad at the person in front of us, when we are yelling at a TV for what someone is saying, like when we emotionally involve ourselves in these dramas of the world, we, and stand back and actually look at it from a universal perspective, we realize, putting into perspective what really matters. What should our real priorities be? Like, is it the dramas that are unfolding in politics, in entertainment, in media, on social media? Is that really what matters to us? No, that's all fucking bullshit and just a big waste of our time and distraction, like, from the real matters at hand, which is, like, we are the fucking universe. And another point that it comes up is this point that was coming up within me the last couple of weeks was, I am the earth. I'm made up of the earth. My body is of the earth, and the earth is of the universe. And truly, the physical substance that we are is of the universe. Like, we are just made up of we are the universe. That point of energy is never created nor destroyed. Everything has always existed. It's just changed forms, like our body. The physical substance of our body has always existed. That's who we are. Imagine the awareness and intelligence in the physical substance that we are, that has always existed. Like, we have, like, that's who we really are. That's who we really are. So just another thing to let settle in you and stir up your perspective of things. And then the last point here of taking a step back and really reflecting, and like, it's like removing the attachment that you have to something to be able to really see something for what it is. It's like, for instance, if you get in a fight with your partner, sometimes it is best take some time off. You get in a fight on social media, you get in a fight with a family member, you're not understanding this problem that you just can't get your head wrapped around. It's like, take a step back. There's nothing wrong with, like, stepping away. Go take a break. Go do something else. Get your mind off of it for a while to kind of clear the slate, and then reapproach it with a fresh eyes, with a new experience, with a clear, state of being, where you can actually now see something with a better vision, rather than the old vision that created the conflict in which you're trying to walk away from. You know what I mean? Like, this point of detaching ourselves, like, removing ourselves from this, like, the way that we detach and entangle and get ourselves all worked up in a tinsy over things. It's like, you can just remove yourself from that, step back, let it go do something else, go focus on something else, do your best, take a nap, do something to, like, let it go, so that you can come back later and see it with a more clear mind. That is probably the better way to deal with situations than, like, what I do, which is, like, stay in it and try to fight my way through it, So another practical example for the week. So hope this resonates, hope it makes sense. It's my first week back in 2 weeks, so I'm just getting all, sharp again on this point. But thanks for being here and walking with. If anything comes up while you're watching this, I would love to hear your perspective on what came up for you in this reading and what you're looking at from it. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for walking with. See you next week.